The next time I hear a black woman talking about patriarchy, I'm gonna pull my the rest of my beard hair because I ain't got no more hair on top of my head. What are you talking
It
about?
goes in spots.
There is no such thing as a black patriarchy. There has never been one. Show me the time when black men just ruled over black women. It hasn't happened. We always needed each other. We always did. You took that woman's issue with her man and brought it back to our community and it destroyed it. And she got her rights and went back to her man. Hey guys, Simmons back with another video. Today we have a video from Shay Sade, one of our favorite YouTubers that's on the up and come. She's on with attorney Dennis Sperling and some good stuff, and I think that's something that we really need to talk about as a black community, especially as us as black men. All right, here we go.
Hear me out. You black ass little nappy headed boy, you ain't SHIT, you gonna be just like your daddy. Yeah. I don't know no black man that ain't heard that. Your own mama is referring to you as an N-word. Look, black head nigga, get your black outside. I'm a what? You know, all these different things. I got brother told me he's from Detroit, and this is last year on my page. He was 6 years old. His mama dropped him off at the football stadium and told him to make his way home. You know what I mean? This is the cruelty that black men are dealing with. You know, women are the biggest abusers of children in America.
You don't hear this stuff being. You don't hear this stuff being talked about, though.
Yeah, you don't hear it being talked about because they would get, what's the word I'm looking for? You would get, it would be called sexism. You would get shouted down by these groups because nobody wants the truth to be out there. That's why you don't hear about it. But these boys know.
I wish I could say he's lying, but he ain't. He's not lying. I grew up in a home where there was a mother and a father in rural Mississippi. And I was never called those things by my mother because my father never would have allowed that, and my mother wasn't that type of woman. But boy, did I ever see it in my friends. I saw it in my friends that I can't think of and I grew up in a small town, and I use my town as a microcosm because in that little small town, everything went on, it just was on a smaller level. The guys I grew up with that were black, I was one of probably about 5 to 6 that had a father in the home. And if you look at how we all turned out, it made a difference. And none of my friends with fathers in the home, mom talked to them like that. But almost all of my friends with no father in the home, their mothers talk to them just like that. I've heard it. My friends, another one of my friends' mother cursed him out. I have never, in my 44 years on this planet, heard a woman curse a man like that in person. I've seen it on the internet nowadays, but I've never, at the time, she used every word she could use. She called that boy everything like this, but a child of God. This happens. It happens way more frequently than we want to talk about in the black community. And it's something that's very near dear to my heart because those men come talk to me. And I sit and I listen to stories. But there's a disconnect though. And this is what always surprises me. Those young men, very rarely do they equate where they're at in their life, where they're at socially, financially, emotionally, spiritually to their mother. They never put two and two together because they were taught that mom's on the pedestal and no matter what mom does, it's right. It's justified. Protect her at all costs because of black community.
Even when she's abusive.
Yes, even when she's abusive. Because the black community is a matriarchy and you cannot question mama. But they'll go in on their daddy. They'll go, they could never even met him. They could met him 5 times. Not saying he ain't sorry for not being there, but they'll go in on him because he wasn't there. This situation is getting to a critical mass. And our community is suffering for it. The problem that I have with it, and I would like to hear your thoughts on this, is that as soon as you start talking like this, like he said, you get shouted down. Why can't everybody be held accountable? If we're gonna hold black fathers accountable for not being there and knock up the wrong women and not paying child support and not being on the up and up, if we're gonna do that, then we gotta do the same. What's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. You cannot have equality without accountability. And that's what we want to do. We want to make excuses for why mama was violent, angry, abusive, and all these things. We want to make excuses for that. But then we want to leave daddy out there. He has no excuse for what he did. He left because he wanted to. Maybe he left because he had to. Anybody ever think about that? Now I'm gonna say this. There ain't nothing on this, or no force on this planet that's gonna keep me from my child. And as you can throw lions, tigers, and bears in there all you want to. I'm gonna take care of my kids, but everybody ain't built like that. What if that man never saw it? What if his daddy walked away? So what do you think about what they're talking about here?
When they were talking, I thought about, and you know this story, one of my students, little boy, black little boy.
Yeah.
In this situation, he had a mishap in my class, and I had to let mom know. And mom came up. Mom came up on her lunch break wearing a bonnet. Now, I'm a kindergarten teacher. I was teaching kinder at that time. She cussed him out. I had to stop her. I said, you cannot do that on school property. And I said, how you discipline and raise your child is what you do on your terms. But here, you cannot do that. And if you continue, I will have to call authorities. And by the time I got that child back, when I tell you he had nothing left, he was so exhausted. He said, I'm so tired. I held him for a little bit before he went to sleep. That's all he had left. Then he went home and came back the next day and he had markings on him. So we had to take another avenue and do other things. The point I'm making is this isn't a one-off. It's not. And I've witnessed personally in my own family, in certain situations, I'm not going to get into it just out of respect to my family, but there are personal situations that I can vouch for where I have seen this, and it is an outrage. Then we do a video like Son Husbands, the one we did. Then you get brothers that come on there talking about, well, you know what I'm saying? You know, mama there for you, mama down for you, mama there for you when mama can't. You know, it's the conditioning. It is the programming. You are brainwashed to believe that crap. And it is following you throughout your relationships and throughout your life. And until you deal with the fact that your mama might be abusive and she might not be a very good mother, until you own that, you will continually have these broken relationships and you will have psychological issues.
And that's the thing, is like, we have to understand that you in life, you're going to encounter things. No, nothing's perfect. There's no perfect scenario. You're going to encounter things. But what we've gotten to what we've done in our community is that we've made it so one-sided. We rigged the game to where there's a whole side of the coin that nobody even talks about. And that side of the coin has cost you. There's cost you. These young men that grow up in these homes and these dynamics, they either A, ended up being abusive themselves, they end up being womanizers and can't control themselves sexually, angry, can't control their emotions. This is why our jails are full of people that look like me, because we as a community don't address anything but what the men do. And then you got a few people with a handful of little channels talking about what women do, and people lose their
Read the
minds.
comments. And you read the comments, and it's these little bitter ladies that go on there, and they're feminists.
And
you can just read it. And I was
the
going to get them.
the betas come
I was going to
out.
get the betas, but I'm talking about the ladies right now. And these ladies go on there, and they're, well, you don't know what that woman went through, and you don't. Well, you know what?
You're hurting everybody around you.
But look at what you're doing. Look at the damage that you're doing. When are we going to own? When do we actually get accountability, ladies? When do we actually say, what I'm doing is wrong, what I'm doing is hurting, and I need some help? When do we do that part? Because I know feminists want to say, oh, toxic masculinity, the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But when are we going to actually understand, guys, we got to wake up. This feminist bullcrap that's being shoved down everybody's throat, it is the undoing of our society. Like,
our community, especially.
The
next time I hear a black woman talking about patriarchy, I'm gonna pull my the rest of my beard hair, because I ain't got no more hair on top of my head. What are you talking about?
It goes in spots.
There is no such thing as a black patriarchy. There has never been one. Show me the time when black men just ruled over black women. It hasn't happened. We always needed each other. We always did. You took that woman's issue with her man and brought it back to our community, and it destroyed it. And she got her rights and went back to her man. And I would say to the 80% men that watch the channel, if your son is in a situation like that, or daughter is in a situation like that, you need to fight to get custody of your child. You do. If it didn't work out between you and mama, and things happen, or y'all divorced, or y'all broke up, or you got her pregnant, you need to fight to get your child back, because the version of the child that you're gonna get out of that situation is not gonna be good. And trust me, I see it every day. These young men and young women that come out of the situation are broken.
Yeah.
And I know the world, like I said, the world's not perfect. I know as a father, you may not be there every day or every other weekend. You may be every other weekend dad. I don't know. But you need to fight to get your child out of the situation because it's not going to end well. So we'll leave it there for right now, but we definitely will be back on this topic. But for now, that's enough said.